What's a red flag when looking for a job? Hiring lots of people on the same position. Everyone who calls gets a job. Often means the job is either bullet or they're setting you all up to compete for the actual job. I had this once. Turned out it was commission only. Door-to-door vacuum sales. I did that for a month. My breaking point was when I was told I couldn't carry any water with me in what is essentially desert climate in middle of summer. Was told to request a glass of water from random strangers. Same if I needed to use a bathroom. I wound up so parched I was risking real dehydration and the other salespeople had the nerve to drink all my water. Oh, and I sold a grand total of 3 vacuums. I actually has 5 sales. But I quit on a Friday and by Monday they claimed my last 2 sales were cancelled and I now owed them something like $150 for accessories. Convinced them to zero out my entire account and just close it. Edited to add. Since I have a lot of replies asking which vacuum, it was Kirby. Worked a job doing door-to-door solar power sales. Similar thing happened to me. First few weeks I had my backpack with my water and jumper and a bit of food to keep me going as I was walking like 8 hours a day. Got a new team leader and he said no bag and I can't take my jumper because it looked unprofessional. This was close to winter with rain most days. I left pretty much the next day. When they had talked previous employees, they're going to do it to you. Same goes for them insulting current employees behind their back. I saw that during my orientation. 2 supervisors were loudly talking about how useless an employee was after they got off the phone with him. Even if it's true, the fact that they don't care who hears them is a sign of a toxic work environment. Typical behavior of managers who like to deflect blame for their own mistakes onto employees. Basically a symptom of a terrible boss. My bosses do this. The smell of the last guy hadn't even left the building before they just started eating all over him. Funny thing is, he was easily one of the best employees in the department and rose accordingly. They immediately started talking about how much he sucked and all that the second he left the group. Now, how do you think that makes those of us struggling to climb the ladder, to even get noticed for non-payroll advancements, feel? Yeah, I'm currently job hunting. Making jokes about overtime and crunch time. Guaranteed it's going to be a nights and weekends are optional, but not actually optional, place. I went to an interview where the guy said we don't end the day until everyone is done. And sometimes that takes another hour on a busy day. Then my genius brain said yeah I don't want to work constant overtime. What was I thinking expecting to go home when my contract says I go home? In reality maybe an hour overtime can easily turn into 2 hours overtime every day. Having to pretend this is normal is toxic as frick. When I was a GM for Chipotle I would constantly work 12+ hour days, salary. And one busy weekend I worked 15 hours on Friday and 15 on Saturday and on Sunday I decided to go to the gas station and eat my donuts in my car and just listen to the radio for like 10 extra minutes to just kind of unwind. You better believe the area manager was there the next day with a write-up in hand, because I was 10 minutes late on Sunday, but when I asked what about the other 10 extra hours I put into my store the previous days. That's just part of the job description. That's freaking disgusting. Hope you're in a better spot now friend. I got into something decent and then the whole world hit the bed. Currently waiting for everything to open back up like almost everyone else. Always ask them why the person you are replacing left the job. The way they answer this could be a red flag. I took a security guard job in college as a part-time gig. In the interview the owner said the guy I was replacing was just lazy. On my first day I asked one of my co-workers and it turns out he was shot in the face while on duty. Too lazy to drive himself to the hospital I guess? If the guy couldn't even keep bullets out of his own body, how can he be expected to keep people out of the building? Initially unpaid, but will result in full-time offer upon completion of XYZ. This will be an excellent chance to expand your portfolio and gain lots of exposure with leading global brands. Graphic designer here. My favorite response to this. You can die from exposure. Musician here. That is also my favorite response. Come play at my bar. Okay, how much you wanna pay me? Well, Nothing, but you'll get good exposure. People die from exposure. You want me to play? I need cash money. That's why I busk instead. It ain't a living, but it pays the beer. I once told a bar manager that I usually play in the subway for booze money and that I could cut the middleman at this point. He looked at me and said, "You're doing this backwards. You're supposed to be a musician that drinks, not an alcoholic that plays music." This it had me thinking, not gonna lie. Earning potential is stress over current salary. I applied to a place where they were offering me 30% less than what I was currently making. They said that's because you'll be making that up in your performance bonus plus more hard pass from me on that one. Such a slap in the face of an offer. In 5 years you can be making X. Cool. Add that to my offer as guaranteed and we have a deal. Well, it's not guaranteed. Oh, gotcha. So what you're saying is that statement holds no value. LOL. Similar thing I experiences. I wanted 1.2x and they were at X for salary. But with X you'll have room to grow. I'd rather get paid a fair market wage and be stagnant than underpaid with some arbitrary growth potential. They're gonna pay you less so you can grow to that 1.2x that you should have been making from the start. What a joke. You know, while you're working here, there's an opportunity to work hundreds of millions of dollars if you play the lottery. High staff turnover. There's a place near me that's always hiring high-level tech folks. And I mean always. Just makes me think. Meat grinder. Probably pays an absolute killing, but you're chained to your work laptop 24/7. Possibly. The place I work at now doesn't pay a killing and does not chain you to a laptop. From the outside it seems like a regular job, but the entire company focuses on management to a fault. Highly qualified technical staff end up leaving because they have held back good solutions until they can convince a mammoth management chain to make the case for the solution to the client. Being extremely metric focused, they can show all green reports, but in actual practice most things should be yellow. I have been a consultant for 17 years. I have never worked at such a slow pace. If the job description has about 20 items of which one is sales, your job is going to be sales. If the job description has multiple items, then the majority of your duty is going to be the worst one of those items. A bit like occasional weekend means occasional weekend off. One summer I applied for a construction job. The interviewer told me I might sometimes need to work Saturdays. Fair enough. I thought to myself, unexpected stuff can come up and require some extra work. It's fine. First day on site, the foreman told me I'll be working both Saturdays and Sundays with no days off indefinitely. My co-worker said this has been going on since Easter. It was August. Oh, and my daily schedule got extended by 2 hours the very next day. I lasted less than a month. Where is that even legal? Similarly, other duties as needed can translate to sales. Happened to me in a job that I was doing digital marketing for. They wanted me to do sales related tasks as well. I said that's not my job. They pointed out that line in my job description and said I need to improve my attitude and do it or give them notice of my departure. I told them thanks, I'll be gone in 30 days, and mentioned if they want sales to be done then hire someone for the role. That is not what I signed up for nor want to do. They were surprised, and within a month after I left they hired a director of sales. They didn't have one previously. Super high turnover rate there too. We work hard and play hard. It actually means all work and for sure no play. Translation. You will work 60+ hours a week and are expected to come to the company happy hour whether you drink or not. Also, we all stay here too much then go get hammered because we hate our spouses and children and will do anything to avoid going home. We like family here. I like my job for the most part, but whenever some refers to this as the company name family I cringe. This is not my family and I will not use that terminology. I do brand management, so whenever they drop that into something that they want me to send out or share I change it to company name team. We are a family here, which means this is how they try to make up for the itty pay and long hours. This is the one I was looking for. Yes, it's a family in the sense that the company expects me to be willing to do anything to help you and your company anytime, anywhere, anyhow. You and your brothers and sisters, aka the other overworked unappreciated punes. are conditioned to work harder to help each other out. The problem there is that the only people who benefit are the people at the top. It's essentially a predatory practice designed to force extra effort out of you by abusing your empathy and your connection to your co-workers. Johnny Mac Corpor at a frick bag literally wouldn't flinch if you dropped dead at your desk from the stress. He would just be pissed at the loss of output and immediately be concerned with finding a new cog for the machine he calls a family. Or if a prospective employer ever says, "We're like a family here," what they mean is they're going to ruin you psychologically. Just like my real family. Master's degree preferred for an entry-level job. But the worst part is that they're getting what they ask for. I've been applying to so many master's degree preferred entry-level jobs, and always getting passed over for other people with a master's that have 10+ years of experience and are perfectly willing to take entry-level pay. Yeah, at my job we were hiring for an analyst level role, something that's maybe 3-5 years of experience. For some reason HR kept pushing through the resumes with 10+ years of experience and master's degrees for us to interview. And I kept looking at it like, isn't this person way overqualified for this role? They were a manager before this and we're interviewing them for an analyst level role? Which sucked for the people who actually made more sense for the role, because they'd get passed over for someone who was extremely overqualified for an analyst position, but willing to be super underpaid for their experience, I guess. They ended up extending an offer to one guy who, in fact, had a master's and like over 15 years of experience, but then coronavirus happened and his offer got rescinded. Starting salary, 30k 40k. So freaking relatable. I've been applying to jobs for a year and just graduated into this pandemic that makes the job market even worse. But I'm applying to entry-level jobs and I so commonly see master's degree preferred, 3+ years of experience, 2+ years of experience required. Like what the frick, I just graduated college. These experience requirements are for mid-level jobs, not entry-level. No one wants to take kids out of college anymore and develop them. And that's all for now. Make sure to like, subscribe and click that bell notification for more /Reddit network videos. Thanks and come again.